The Legend of Jigong, Chapter 96.
We are unpacking a narrative today that operates less like a traditional piece of classical literature and entirely like a medieval heist movie colliding with a home invasion thriller.
Yeah, it really does read like a thriller.
We are talking about deep underworld politics, lethal rooftop combat, secret codes, and this bizarre, highly detailed exploration of bureaucratic red tape that feels, I don't know, completely modern.
Oh, the bureaucracy stuff is wild.
So today, for you listening, we are extracting the ultimate survival guide for a Wuxia-style night raid. We're going to look at the complex rules of underworld engagement, the actual tactical mechanics of defending a sprawling compound, and how chaos theory applies when outlaws and underpaid law enforcement just collide.
The contrast in this text is what makes it so enduring, I think.
Hmm.
It gives us a window into a society operating on two entirely different tracks.
Right.
Like on one side, you have the Shadow Society, the Green Forest martial arts underworld, which is governed by lethal efficiency.
Strict codes of honor, immediate violent consequences, all of that.
Exactly. And directly juxtaposed against that, we see the official daylight world of local law enforcement.
Which is a mess.
It is completely paralyzed by skepticism, endless procedures, and a total lack of resources. It is a brilliant sociological study wrapped in a high-octane martial arts thriller.
Okay, let's unpack this. We begin at ground zero of the crisis, the delivery of the warning. Our target is Ma Jun. And the text refers to him by a very specific nickname, the white-faced Zhuangzi. But even a guy nicknamed after a legendary assassin is completely undone by what he receives here. Like, Ma Jun opens this letter, and his color instantly drains from his face.
Yeah, he panics.
His sworn brother is with him, a guy named Zhang Sheng, whose nickname is the Iron-Faced Heavenly King, which, side note, is an incredibly intimidating title.
It really is.
So, Zhang Jiang asks him what's wrong, and Ma Jun shows him this 8-line poem. And it was sent by the eccentric monk, Jigong.
Right, Jigong.
For those who aren't familiar with this universe, Jigong is essentially the chaotic good wizard of this world. He operates entirely on his own wavelength, just showing up to disrupt both the authorities and the outlaws.
And the structure of Jigong's warning is terrifying in its precision. The poem lays out a very clear chain of causality.
Yeah, it breaks it all down.
It essentially says, look, because you acted with chivalry in the past to save travelers, you have stirred up a massive hornet's nest.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Exactly. The Green Forest thieves have gathered, they've stormed the government offices, they've broken out of prison, and tonight, they are coming to your house.
So it completely removes any hope of negotiation.
Yes. It promises that if Ma Jun doesn't prepare immediately, his entire family, young and old, will be slaughtered.
It is total war. The poem explicitly says knives will chop them all, swords will execute them all. It is a threat to his entire lineage.
Brutal.
And Xing Xion, the iron-faced heavenly king, reads this and is just blown away by Jigong's foresight. He realizes they are completely exposed.
Right, they have no defenses ready.
But Ma Jun needs an army, and he has roughly a dozen hours to get one. So he turns to these 3 guests who just happen to be visiting his house at that exact moment.
And this introduces us to the complex economy of the martial world.
Oh, this part is so fascinating.
Right. The 3 guests are Yang Ming, Lei Ming, and Chen Liang. They aren't just random friends who drop by for tea.
No, they're professionals.
They are professional bodyguards. They operate an escort business, which in this era meant they were responsible for moving valuable goods and protecting VIPs across vast, dangerous territories.
So they're deeply entrenched in the martial underworld.
Deeply. They know the players, they know the routes, and they know how to fight. So Ma Jun swallows his pride and pleads with them to draw their swords and help him defend his compound.
Now, if this were a standard hero narrative, a basic movie, this is the moment where Yang Ming stands up, dramatically draws his blade, and vows to protect the innocent at all costs.
Cue the heroic music.
Right. But that doesn't happen at all. Yang Ming takes the letter, reads it, sits in total silence, and basically says, hold on, I can't just agree to this.
Yeah, he pumps the brakes hard.
I have to admit, my first reaction reading that was frustration. Like, you're a professional bodyguard. Your host is about to be massacred. Why the hesitation?
I mean, it feels cold, sure, but you have to understand the geopolitical reality of Yang Ming's profession.
Okay, break that down for us.
He exercises extreme, necessary professional caution. He tells Ma Jun that he cannot simply obey this request without critical intelligence. He needs to know which specific faction of thieves is coming.
So he's doing a real-time risk assessment.
Exactly, based on regional underworld territories.
Right. He lays out the map. He says if these thieves are from the Yushan County route, he has the clout to step in.
Yes, he has jurisdiction there, socially speaking.
He can act as a mediator, stand in the courtyard, and use his reputation to shut the violence down without a drop of blood being spilled. But if they are from the Sichuan route, it's a completely different calculation.
It is. The escort bureau business is entirely reliant on relationships and reputation, not just brute force. You survive by knowing who you can fight and who you have to pay tolls to.
It's a network.
Yang Ming explains that if the attackers are from the Sichuan route, he has zero authority there. Furthermore, if he interferes and kills members of the Sichuan faction, it won't just be a localized fight.
Right, it escalates.
If they recognize him, they will hold a grudge against him and his escort business for the rest of his life. It will spark a multi-generational blood feud.
So he is basically checking his non-compete clauses.
That is exactly what it is.
It's like a freelance contractor making absolutely sure they aren't stepping on a powerful union's toes before taking a gig. He's telling Ma Jun, look, I do this for a living. I can't burn my entire business infrastructure and put a permanent target on my own back for a guy I literally just met today.
Because they did just meet today.
Yeah. Yang Ming actually says, we only just met today, otherwise I wouldn't dare ask you to bother with this. But Ma Jun pushes back. He flatters him.
He plays the PR game.
He does. He says, I've long heard you are generous, that you treat money like dirt and uphold justice. He weaponizes Yang Ming's own reputation for chivalry against him.
And it is a very effective social maneuver. Yang Ming is caught between his pragmatic business sense and his public identity as a chivalrous hero of the Green Forest.
He can't look like a coward.
No, he can't. He admits that he has a flaw. He can't help but get involved in other people's business when injustice is happening. So he agrees to take command of the defense.
Okay, so he's in.
But he doesn't just agree blindly. He sets a massive, non-negotiable tactical prerequisite, one that seems incredibly strange at first glance, but is actually a brilliant piece of operational security.
The soot.
The soot.
He tells Ma Jun he will fight, but he and his two partners have to go into the kitchen, take soot from the bottom of a cooking pot, and smear it all over their faces until they are completely black.
Such a specific request.
Right, when I first read this, I thought it was just primitive night camouflage. You know, darken your features so you don't catch the moonlight. But it's way more complicated than that, isn't it?
Oh, the camouflage is a secondary benefit, at best. The primary purpose of the pot soot is plausible deniability.
Interesting.
It is about preserving face, both literally and socially, within the underworld. Yang Ming knows that the men dropping onto that roof tonight might be his colleagues.
Oh, like people he knows personally.
Yes. They might be men he has drank with, negotiated with, or worked alongside in the past. If he stands in that courtyard barefaced and kills a man he knows, it is a catastrophic breach of the social contract.
That makes so much sense.
It forces a social confrontation and a guaranteed feud.
But if he's wearing a mask of soot...
Exactly. If he is masked in soot, even if the thieves suspect it is Yang Ming based on his fighting style or his weapons, they cannot officially prove it.
Wow. It provides a crucial layer of diplomatic insulation.
It allows Yang Ming to brutally slaughter these attackers while maintaining the technical fiction that he was never there. It is an ancient, highly pragmatic workaround for underworld HR policies.
That is fascinating. He's not hiding from the swords. He's hiding from the social consequences of the swords.
Brilliantly put.
So Yang Ming is officially locked in. He has his soot. But let's look at the actual numbers here, because this is where the tactical reality sets in.
The math is not in their favor.
No. We have Yang Ming, his two bodyguard partners, Ma Jun and Zheng Zhong. 5 men. The poem promises an army. 5 guys, even elite fighters, cannot hold off an entire invasion force on a sprawling estate.
It's impossible.
They need a defense strategy, and they need a militia.
And this is the moment Yang Ming transitions from a cautious negotiator into a brilliant battlefield commander. He doesn't panic. He immediately begins an audit of the available resources.
Okay, what's his first move?
He asks Ma Jun for a full inventory of the personnel on the estate.
Right, and Ma Jun says he has over 100 people in the household. But we have to be really clear about what that means. These are not 100 trained soldiers.
Not at all.
This is an agricultural and domestic workforce. Long-term laborers, tenant farmers, cooks, stable hands, and maybe a few night watchmen. If you hand these people swords and tell them to fight martial arts masters, It is going to be an absolute massacre.
And Yang Ming understands that completely. He calls the entire population of the estate into the main courtyard and immediately begins triaging them.
He sorts them out.
The text notes that he filters out the young, the weak, and the elderly. He separates the vulnerable from the capable, leaving him with exactly 60 strong, able-bodied young men.
I mean, 60 guys is a decent-sized force. So if I'm commanding this defense, my instinct is to take those 60 strong guys, give them whatever weapons we have, and put them right at the front gate or along the perimeter walls to create a physical barrier.
Right, like a phalanx.
Yeah. A meat shield to absorb the initial shock of the invasion, while the 5 elite fighters pick off the leaders.
And if you did that, the defense would collapse in 3 minutes.
Really?
Absolutely. Yang Ming knows that putting untrained farmers on the front line against elite green forest killers will only result in 60 dead farmers and a complete routing of morale.
Okay, so what does he do?
Instead, Yang Ming addresses them directly. He tells them the stark reality of the situation. He says, "Your master has offended the Green Forest men. Tonight, a gang of thieves is coming with bright torches and weapons. Are you willing to unite and protect your master?"
And the response is instantaneous, right?
Right.
All 60 men shout in unison, "We are willing to fight the thieves to the death." There is no hesitation.
None. And the text pauses to make a really profound psychological observation here.
Oh, I love this part.
It explicitly states that when Yang Ming hears this unified, fearless shout, he immediately understands something vital about Ma Jun.
What's that?
You do not get that kind of instant suicidal loyalty from tenant farmers unless the master of the house has treated them with immense generosity, fairness, and kindness over a period of years. It's an instant audit of Ma Jun's character. It validates Yang Ming's decision to risk his own life. The loyalty of the staff proves that Ma Jun is a man worth saving.
I love that detail so much. The karmic return on being a good boss actually manifests when the assassins show up.
It literally saves his life.
But Yang Ming still isn't going to put them on the front line, despite their bravery. What he actually does with these 60 loyal men is a masterclass in psychological warfare and spatial management.
It really is.
He essentially builds an architectural trap out of the courtyard. What's fascinating here is how he uses the space.
To understand the brilliance of this trap, you have to visualize the layout of a traditional Chinese siyuan or four-sided courtyard house.
Okay, let's map it out for you listening. How does this look?
It is a compound enclosed by buildings on all 4 cardinal directions, with a central open courtyard in the middle.
Right. So where does everyone go?
First, Yang Ming addresses the non-combatants, the women, the children, the elderly, the weak. He orders a complete evacuation of the main areas.
Get them out of the crossfire.
Exactly. They are moved into empty rooms deep in the back of the compound, and crucially, he issues a strict order. Those rooms must remain completely dark.
No lights at all.
No lamps, no candles, no movement. They're to be utterly invisible and silent, removing any vulnerable targets from the attacker's field of vision.
So the vulnerable are blacked out.
Yeah.
What about the heavy hitters, the 5 elite fighters?
He places Ma Jun and Zheng Sheng, the VIPs of the house, in the North Room. The North Room is traditionally the seat of honor and power in a courtyard house.
Okay.
They sit quietly with their weapons drawn, acting as the final line of defense. The West Room is explicitly locked and left completely empty, serving as a silent decoy.
Just to confuse them.
Right. Then Yang Ming and his 2 soot-faced bodyguard partners take the East Room. They leave the doors wide open, sitting in the shadows, staring out into the dark central courtyard. They are the strike team.
Which leaves the 60 strong, armed, highly motivated young men. Where do they go?
Yang Ming places all 60 of them into the South Room, and his orders for them run completely counter to conventional warfare.
All right, this blew my mind.
He orders them to light every single lamp in that room so it is brilliantly illuminated. Then he tells them to lock the doors from the inside.
Wait, so he takes his entire numerical advantage, locks them inside a brightly lit room, and removes them from the physical fight entirely.
Entirely. He gives them one explicit instruction. Do not try to catch the thieves.
That is so counterintuitive.
Their only job is to wait in that locked room. When they hear Yang Ming shout from the courtyard, they are to all yell, scream, and roar as loudly as they possibly can, rattling their weapons against the walls and doors.
They are to create an overwhelming wall of noise.
Precisely. This is a tactic that echoes historical military strategies, like Zhu Zhiliang's empty city stratagem, where perception is manipulated to defeat a superior force.
He is hacking the psychology of the attackers.
Yes. When the Green Forest thieves drop into the courtyard in the dead of night, they expect to find a sleeping, terrified household.
But instead,
They will be met by a silent strike team in the east, waiting veterans in the north, and the sound of what appears to be a massive, heavily armed infantry unit screaming for blood, bathed in light, just behind the doors of the south room.
it's brilliant.
Mm.
If you are an attacker in the dark and you suddenly hear 60 men screaming from a lit room, your brain fills in the gaps.
You imagine the worst.
You assume there are 100 heavily armored guards about to burst through those doors. It paralyzes you. It disrupts the attacker's OODA loop, their ability to observe, orient, decide, and act.
Completely shatters it.
And it keeps the 60 civilians perfectly safe behind locked doors while projecting the illusion of an impenetrable fortress.
It is a flawless defensive deployment. The trap is set perfectly. The text notes that they actually have time to sit down and eat.
They just hang out.
They order wine, they have a meal, and by the time they finish, the sun has set. The lamps are lit in the south room. The non-combatants are silent in the dark.
The tension must be crazy.
Yang Ming, Lei Ming, and Chen Ling smear the black soot over their faces, blending entirely into the darkness of the east room, and they wait.
The tension of that wait must have been excruciating. Just sitting in a dark room, staring at an empty stone courtyard, knowing an army of killers is creeping closer every second.
Agonizing.
And then at the second watch of the night, the silence breaks.
The invasion begins. But it doesn't begin with a massive chaotic charge or the breaking down of the front gates.
Like you'd expect in a movie.
Right. It begins with a single, highly specialized operative dropping silently from the roof into the central courtyard.
And the source text stops the narrative dead in its tracks right here to give us an incredibly specific head-to-toe breakdown of this first thief's tactical gear.
The detail is astounding.
I cannot overstate how detailed this is. It isn't just a guy wearing black pajamas. This is bespoke, highly engineered stealth fashion.
The level of detail here is crucial because it illustrates the sophistication of the Green Forest society.
They're not just street thugs.
No, they have an entire shadow economy of artisans and tailors creating specialized equipment for high-level infiltrations and assassinations.
Let's break down the outfit because it is wild.
Ah.
First, on his head, he is wearing a breathable horsehair headpiece, which, if you think about the physics of what he's doing, makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
If you are sprinting across clay roof tiles in the middle of the night, your body temperature is spiking. You need something that obscures your identity completely. But if you wear heavy cloth, you'll overheat and suffocate.
You pass out.
Right. Horsehair is rigid enough to hold a shape, obscures the face, but allows perfect airflow.
Exactly. It prioritizes physiological performance during extreme exertion while maintaining total anonymity.
Then he's wearing a three-pronged opening custom night suit. And the text specifically notes that this suit uses bone buttons and specific loops.
Yes, the bone button.
Why bone? Why not just tie it with cloth? Or use metal clasps like standard armor?
Because metal is a huge liability in stealth operations. If a metal clasp strikes against a weapon hilt or scrapes against a roof tile as you crawl,
Just one little clink.
that single clink of metal in the dead of night will give away your position and get you killed. Furthermore, metal can rust if exposed to rain or sweat, degrading the integrity of the suit.
That makes sense.
Bone is entirely silent, it is durable, it doesn't reflect moonlight, and it fastens securely. It is an engineering choice based on the brutal realities of night rights.
Incredible. And around his waist, he has an Arhat strand silk sash tied with a double-pole butterfly knot. Now, a butterfly knot is designed to be untied instantly with one solid pull.
Correct.
Why would you want your belt to come undone easily in a fight?
It is an escape mechanism.
Yeah.
In close quarters combat or while navigating treacherous environments like tree branches or jagged roofs, your sash is a liability.
Because someone could grab it.
Exactly. If an opponent grabs your sash to pull you in for a lethal strike, or if it gets snagged on a roof ornament as you are leaping, you don't have time to fumble with a complex knot.
So you just ditch it.
You yank the release string, the sash falls away entirely, leaving the opponent holding empty cloth while you escape. It sacrifices the garment to save the life.
So smart. He's also wearing black satin crotch pants, blue satin socks, patterned leg bindings to keep his trousers tight so they don't snag.
All standard mobility gear?
Right. And finally, and this is my favorite part, reverse-stitched multi-layer soles and fish scale slip-on shoes.
The footwear is perhaps the most critical piece of equipment.
Why the multi-layered soles?
The multi-layered reverse-stitched soles act as heavy shock absorbers. They allow a grown, muscular man to drop from a high roof directly onto hard stone pavers in the courtyard without generating a sound.
It just dampens the kinetic impact.
Completely.
And the fish scale texture on the slip-on shoes.
Traditional Chinese roof tiles are curved, often glazed, and can be incredibly slick with dew or humidity at night.
Oh, like walking on ice.
Right. The fishtail texture provides multi-directional friction, allowing the infiltrator to grip the curved tiles and move at high speeds without slipping. Every single item on this man's body has been iteratively designed through generations of underworld survival to maximize stealth, mobility, and lethality.
He looks like an ancient special operations soldier. So he drops into the courtyard, completely silent. He scans the area, he looks east, looks west, and sees that the door to the east room is standing open.
Debate.
He starts walking silently up the steps toward the darkness. And despite all of that incredible, bespoke, highly engineered tactical gear, Yang Ming doesn't even draw a sword. He just flicks his wrist.
A single, perfectly placed dart.
The dart hits the thief squarely in the mouth. It is an instant neutralizing strike. The thief doesn't even have the breath to scream.
He's just gone.
Lei Ming, the second bodyguard, rushes out of the shadows, swings his blade, and the incredibly well-dressed tactical operative is dead before he hits the ground.
So fast.
They don't even know who he was. All that preparation, all that gear, ended in a fraction of a second.
And that single silent kill acts as the starting gun for the entire war. Because while the thief in the courtyard couldn't scream, the thieves waiting on the roof realize immediately that their vanguard has been taken out.
They were watching.
Yes. A voice rings out from the north roof, yelling out underworld slang. They shout, "Our partner has had his gourd plucked."
Or plucked, meaning somebody just got their head taken off.
Exactly. The stealth phase of the operation has failed, and the assault phase begins instantly.
The loud phase.
The voice on the roof shouts a direct challenge to the master of the house. He says, "Good for you, Ma Jun. You dare oppose the green forest. Today we will chop your household to pieces. Every blade will execute." And then the command is given, brothers, attack.
The text describes a scene of absolute terror. Suddenly, the north roof is swarming with people. The south roof is full of people.
They're everywhere.
The east and west roofs are covered. They are completely surrounded by heavily armed killers. The thieves start raining down from the roofs into the central courtyard like a waterfall of blades.
And this is the precise microsecond that Yang Ming chooses to trigger his psychological trap.
Oh, this is the best part.
The courtyard is flooding with enemies. Yang Ming jumps out of the shadows of the east room, his face pitch black with soot, and shouts his challenge at the top of his lungs. "You thieves dare to come with open fire and weapons."
That is the trigger. That is the signal the 60 men in the locked south room have been waiting for. Right on cue, all 60 of them start screaming their heads off, roaring, smashing their weapons against the walls and the locked doors.
Imagine the acoustics of that.
A closed stone courtyard echoing with a sudden, deafening roar of 60 men.
It creates immediate, paralyzing chaos. The thieves who just dropped into the courtyard were expecting a panicked, sleeping household.
And instead,
their vanguard is dead. A soot-faced demon is challenging them from the east. The VIPs are entrenched in the north, and the overwhelming sound of a massive, heavily armed infantry unit is about to burst out of a brilliantly lit south room.
it completely shatters the attacker's momentum.
Their OODA loop is broken, they freeze.
And in that moment of hesitation, Yang Ming goes to work. The text gives us a detailed breakdown of his fights against two named elite fighters. These aren't foot soldiers, these are bosses.
High-level targets.
The first one to attack him is a man named Li Tai, whose underworld nickname is Double Sword Invincible. Li Tai charges Yang Ming and swings his twin blades down in a massive overhead chop.
What is remarkable about the combat described in this text is how grounded it is in biomechanics and martial logic.
It's not like the movies.
Right. There is no wire fu, no floating in the air for extended exchanges. It is brutal, decisive, and based on leverage and positioning. When Li Tai chops down with his dual swords, Yang Ming performs a highly specific maneuver that the text calls plucking grass to find the snake.
It sounds so poetic. Plucking grass to find the snake.
Yeah.
But what does that actually look like in terms of physics and footwork?
It is an evasion and a lethal counterattack executed in a single, fluid motion. When an opponent swings two heavy swords downward, they are committing their entire body weight and momentum to that downward trajectory.
So they're off balance.
Their center of gravity shifts dangerously forward. Plucking grass implies dropping your elevation, drastically getting underneath that momentum.
Oh, I see.
Yang Ming steps offline, sweeps his own blade horizontally to brush aside the incoming threat, like parting tall grass, and strikes directly at the newly exposed, vulnerable target hiding beneath the guard.
The snake.
The snake, which in this case is Li Tai's unprotected torso.
He uses Li Tai's own downward momentum against him. He slips past the heavy chop and instantly kills him. One move. Double Sword Invincible is dead in 3 seconds.
The lethality is stunning, but the battlefield doesn't allow for a breath. Immediately, another highly famous thief steps up to fill the gap.
Who's this one?
This is Li Shang, known as the Copper-Armed Ape.
The text notes that Li Shang is a renowned fighter. He just watched Li Tai get slaughtered, and he attacks Yang Ming with a ferocious horizontal strike aimed right at Yang Ming's head.
A total decapitation strike.
And Yang Ming counters with a move called Fishing the Moon from the seabed.
The mechanics of fishing the moon from the seabed represent a brilliant manipulation of kinetic energy.
How does it work?
It begins with a drastic upward parry. Yang Ming drops low the seabed and drives his sword upward to meet Li Shang's strike. He catches the blade, stopping the momentum. But that is only the first half of the move.
Right, because Li Shang is a veteran. He realizes his strike has been blocked, and he immediately tries to pull his blade back to reset his guard.
But Yang Ming doesn't let him reset. As Li Shang pulls back, Yang Ming follows the motion.
He sticks to him.
He executes a rapid wrist flick, angling his own blade to chop aggressively at Li Shang's neck.
And the thief reacts perfectly. Li Shang shrinks his neck back, pulling his head out of range and dodging the blade by inches.
He dodges the blade, yes. But in doing so, he seals his own fate.
Wait, how?
Fishing the moon is not just a sword technique, it is a full-body kinetic chain. By forcing Li Shang to aggressively lean backward to dodge the next strike, Yang Ming has completely compromised the thief's balance.
Oh, he's leaning too far back.
Li Shang's center of gravity is pushed backward, his guard is open, and his midsection is totally exposed. Yang Ming uses the forward momentum of his own missed sword strike to step deep into the thief's space, and he delivers a devastating full-power kick directly into Li Shang's waist.
It folds him in half. The text says the thief is thrown backwards so violently that he plants headfirst into the stone ground.
Just brutal force.
He is completely incapacitated. And before he can even blink, Yang Ming steps forward and finishes him with a single clinical sword strike. It is absolute terrifying domination.
The master at work.
Yang Ming is operating as a one-man meat grinder in this courtyard. He has just dismantled 3 elite fighters back-to-back without taking a scratch.
He is operating at absolute peak efficiency. His spatial awareness, his tactical positioning, his psychological manipulation with the shouting men, everything is working in perfect harmony. He is in total control of the environment and the enemy.
But it's fascinating how perfectly that physical defense worked, because it exposes a massive blind spot.
It does.
When you rely entirely on deception, masks, and chaos to survive, how do you know who is actually standing next to you in the dark? We see a pivot right here, from a flawless physical defense to a catastrophic psychological error.
Yes. Amidst the blood and the screaming of the courtyard, Yang Ming scans the battlefield and spots another fighter charging toward him.
Okay.
This man is dressed in the standard night suit of the thieves, but Yang Ming notices something critical about his face. It is completely black.
And Yang Ming's brain immediately connects the wrong dots. He thinks, wait, I know a guy with a black face. My sworn brother, Guo Shen, the night-walking ghost, has a naturally black face.
A fatal assumption.
And suddenly, in the middle of this life-or-death slaughter, Yang Ming's entire priority system rewires itself. He stops thinking about defending the courtyard and reverts back to underworld politics.
Exactly.
He thinks, if my sworn brother is part of this raiding party, I absolutely cannot fight him. I need to get him out of here, parlay with him, and mediate a truce before one of us kills the other.
And you have to realize why he's doing this.
Right, because wait a minute, they're on opposite sides of a war. Yang Ming was hired to kill these thieves. Why would he stop fighting just because he recognizes one of them?
Because in the Green Forest, the concept of sworn brotherhood supersedes almost every other loyalty.
Even employment.
Including employment, and sometimes even the law itself. A sworn brother is bound to you by blood oaths and spiritual alignment. To strike down a sworn brother is to commit a profound moral atrocity within that culture.
Oh, wow.
Yang Ming's reaction is entirely logical based on the rules of his world. He must save his friend, or at least de-escalate. So instead of attacking this black-faced man, he utilizes a secret, encrypted communication channel.
He forms his mouth in a specific way and lets out a very distinct whistle. The text identifies this as the secret code of the Phoenix Ridge Rui village.
Yes, very specific.
It is an audio password meant only for trusted members of that specific underworld faction.
It is the equivalent of a cryptographic handshake. It is designed to cut through the fog of war and establish identity without shouting names.
And it works. The black-faced man hears the whistle over the din of the battle, pauses, and whistles the exact same complex code back to Yang Ming. Identity confirmed, right?
In Yang Ming's mind, the loop is closed. The black face plus the correct whistle equals his sworn brother.
He's totally convinced.
He motions for the man to follow him, and he leads him out of the chaotic, brightly lit courtyard, slipping away into the quiet, dark woods just outside the compound perimeter.
Yang Ming turns around in the woods, drops his guard completely, and says, "Is that you, my brother Guo Shun? It is I, your brother Yang Ming."
So vulnerable.
He is totally unguarded. He is ready to embrace the guy and figure a way out of this mess. But the narrator drops a massive hammer on the reader. It is not Guo Shun.
It is a devastating reveal. The man standing in the woods is not the night-walking ghost. It is a completely different master thief named the Yun Fei, known as the White Lotus Scholar.
But why was his face black?
Because Yun Fei is a brilliant, paranoid operative. Anticipating that he might be recognized by enemies or authorities during a massive night raid, he utilized the exact same trick Yang Ming did.
No way.
He smeared soot from a cooking pot all over his face before the battle started.
It is the ultimate irony. Yang Ming is undone by his own cleverness. The very disguise Yang Ming used to protect his own identity and his escort business allowed his enemy to steal his best friend's identity.
It is a phenomenal piece of narrative symmetry, and Yun Fei, the White Lotus Scholar, is perhaps the most terrifying opponent on the board precisely because he does not fight by the honorable rules of martial engagement.
Right, he's a pragmatist.
When Yun Fei hears Yang Ming introduce himself in the woods, he doesn't draw his sword to duel. He does a rapid tactical calculation.
What's he thinking?
He thinks, I know who Yang Ming is. He's a grandmaster. I cannot possibly beat him in a fair fight. But if I try to run away right now, his speed is greater than mine. He will realize I am an imposter, chase me down, and kill me from behind.
So running is death, fighting is death.
My only option is to strike first, and I must cheat.
I want to spend a second on the psychology of Yun Fei here. It highlights the brutal reality of survival in the Green Forest. It isn't just about who has the best sword skills or who knows the most poetic moves like fishing the moon.
No, it's about survival.
Yun Fei survives because he is incredibly adaptable and totally ruthless. He heard the whistle in the courtyard, didn't know what it meant, but had the split-second quick thinking to perfectly mimic it just to buy himself a momentary advantage.
Just stalling for time.
And when he realizes he's physically outmatched in the woods, he immediately abandons martial arts and turns to asymmetrical chemical warfare.
Exactly. The title scholar implies intellect over brawn. Yun Fei reaches into his robes and pulls out a weapon the text calls a soul-confounding sandbag.
That sounds ominous.
It is essentially a localized, weaponized anesthetic, a chemical dispersal device.
He doesn't square up. He just smashes this bag of chemical dust right into Yang Ming's face.
Yang Ming, expecting a conversation with his brother, takes a deep breath. He inhales a strange, sweet fragrance. And the man who just effortlessly slaughtered 3 elite fighters in hand-to-hand combat, the tactical genius who held off an army with 60 screaming farmers, is instantly brought down by a puff of toxic dust.
Just like that.
The chemical attacks his nervous system. He tries to say Yun Fei's name in realization, but his body fails him, and he collapses unconscious to the forest floor mid-sentence.
It is terrifying how quickly the tables turn. 1 second you are the unquestioned master of the battlefield. The next you are paralyzed in the dirt because you trusted the wrong shadow.
The Green Forest is unforgiving.
Yun Fei stands over the unconscious grandmaster, laughs, and says, "Yang Ming, you may be a great hero, but I'm going to end your life right now." He raises his blade. The hero of our story, the linchpin of the entire defense, is about to be unceremoniously executed in the woods, completely helpless.
It looks like it's all over.
And just as the blade is coming down, the universe intervenes.
Another thief from the raiding party suddenly runs up behind Yun Fei in the woods and shouts, "Partner, leave this one to me, let me kill him."
Yun Fei gets annoyed. He turns and says, "Why do you need to do it?" I caught him. He turns back to finish Yang Ming himself, raises his knife, and then snick.
A spray of red light.
Blood everywhere. But it isn't Yang Ming's blood. Yunfei, the White Lotus scholar, the man who relied on chemical weapons and deception, is suddenly and instantly struck dead.
And from the dark canopy of the trees directly above them, a lazy, almost conversational voice drifts down through the branches. The voice says, "Ah, so fast! Killed him, Amitabha!"
It's Jigong, the eccentric, chaotic good monk who sent the warning poem to Majun in the very beginning.
He's just been there the whole time.
He hasn't been orchestrating armies, he's just been chilling in the trees watching this entire horrific sequence play out, and he casually drops an assassin to save Yang Ming at the absolute last second.
It's perfect timing.
But the text doesn't even linger on this epic rescue. We don't get a grand monologue. The narrator immediately pulls a record scratch and says, wait, where did Jigong come from?
Right, the hard pivot.
And we transition violently from this life or death tension in the dark woods to a bizarre, darkly comedic, parallel storyline involving the local government authorities.
This transition is where the text reveals its true satirical genius. It yanks the reader out of the romanticized, lethal, hyper-competent world of the martial artists and drops them squarely into the mundane, frustrating, deeply incompetent reality of a bureaucratic nightmare.
It is so jarring.
The juxtaposition is intentional. The narrator gives us a quick flashback to explain how Jigong ended up in that tree.
Right. We learned that earlier in the day, Jigong was being tailed by two local police constables, Chai and Du. They were trying to track him. And how does Jigong lose them?
He doesn't fight them?
Does he use a smoke bomb? Does he parkour over a wall? No. He literally jumps into a rushing river. Why? Because he casually remarks that he needs to wash the lice off himself.
He just decides to bathe.
He just wades into a river to do his laundry, looks at the furious cops standing on the bank, and yells, "Hey, I'll meet you guys later in Chengshan County."
It is a display of absolute disrespect for the official authorities. The constables are furious, they are exhausted, and they have no choice but to follow his directive.
They're just following his itinerary.
They travel through the night to Chengshan County to try and pick up his trail. When they arrive, the text notes the time. It is 10:00 a.m., broad daylight.
So the sun is up now.
A complete atmospheric contrast to the midnight raid we just spent the last half hour breaking down, and outside a tavern they bump into a colleague of theirs.
The constable named Zhu Rui. And Zhu Rui is not having a good morning. He looks terrible. He is being physically supported, basically carried, by two other men.
He's in bad shape.
Why? Because earlier in the timeline, while he was chasing a completely different master thief named Hua Yanlong, Zhu Rui was hit square in the chest by a flying stone. And who threw that stone?
Yang Ming.
Yang Ming, the very guy who is currently unconscious in the woods.
The interconnectedness of these events is incredible. It paints a picture of a very small, highly volatile ecosystem.
Everybody knows everybody.
Yang Ming injures Constable Zhu Rui, then goes to fight the thieves, gets poisoned by Yunfei, and is saved by Jigong, who is being chased by Zhu Rui's colleagues.
It's all just one giant messy circle.
It is a massive, tangled web of cause and effect. But the truly fascinating part of this sequence is not the injury itself. It is how the official government system handles Zhu Rui's injury.
This is the most absurd, Kafkaesque HR moment I have ever read in classical literature.
Yeah.
It raises such a vital point about how this society functions.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at the incredible contrast. The outlaws in the Green Forest operate with lethal speed. They mobilize 60 men, execute complex rooftop assaults, deploy bespoke stealth gear, and utilize chemical weapons in the dead of night with total efficiency.
They are a well-oiled machine.
But the actual official law enforcement, the people paid to stop them, they are bogged down by petty, cynical, bureaucratic red tape.
Exactly. Constable Zhu Rui gets hit with a rock thrown by a martial arts master, and he is coughing up blood.
He's really hurt.
He has suffered a severe internal hemorrhage. His friends, recognizing that he might actually die from this, rush to the magistrate's office, the local government boss, to formally request sick leave for him.
They just want him to be able to go home and lie down so he doesn't bleed to death. But the magistrate, the boss of the district, flat out refuses to believe the report.
He denies it.
He says, "My district just had a massive crime wave, a huge robbery. Now this guy wants time off. I don't believe him. I need to see if he's really hurt or if he's just faking it to avoid work."
It is a stunning, cynical display of institutional distrust. To understand this, you have to look at the history of local magistrates and yamen runners in this era.
Right, tell us about that dynamic.
Magistrates were often scholars sent from far away, and they deeply mistrusted the local constables, the runners, viewing them as corrupt, low-class thugs who were often in bed with the criminals.
So they assumed everyone was lying to them.
The institutional paranoia was absolute. The magistrate has zero faith in his own men. So what happens? Zhu Rui, who is actively bleeding internally, is denied arrest. His family and colleagues have to physically drag him, half dead, back into the government office and present his broken body to the magistrate.
The boss literally forces his employee to come into the office and bleed on his desk just to prove he isn't lying.
It's horrific.
The text is brutally specific. It says, Zhu Rui had to kowtow on the floor, explain that he was hit by a thief's stone, and then he stood there and coughed up several more mouthfuls of blood right in front of the boss.
Just awful.
Only then, after watching his employee hemorrhage under the floorboards, does the magistrate say, okay, fine, the injury is real.
And the compensation for this life-threatening line-of-duty injury, the magistrate rewards him with 20 taels of silver and grants him exactly 10 days of leave to recover.
10 days.
10 days for massive internal hemorrhaging. This entire sequence highlights exactly why the Green Forest thrive.
Because the good guys are completely hobbled.
The official system is callous, underfunded, deeply cynical, and lacks any real power or desire to protect its own enforcers, let alone the citizenry. The constables are essentially desperate wage slaves trying to survive a hostile bureaucracy.
They don't stand a chance.
Completely outmatched physically and financially by the superpowered outlaws they are supposed to be policing.
It's so grim, but it's also hilarious in a very dark, modern corporate way.
Yeah.
You get hit by a superhero's flying rock, your ribs are shattered, and your HR department demands you come in for an in-person meeting to bleed on a form before approving your PTO.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So Zhu Rui gets his meager 10 days off, and his friends help him hobble out of the office. They are walking down the main street of the county, exhausted, defeated, and they sit down outside a local tavern to catch their breath.
And this is where it gets crazy.
This is where the worlds of the superpowered outlaws and the broken law enforcement finally collide in broad daylight.
The audacity of what happens next is just staggering. It perfectly encapsulates the power dynamic of this universe. The constables are sitting there, talking amongst themselves, nursing their wounded comrade, and suddenly, a man casually strolls out of the tavern, right into their line of sight.
And he is not sneaking around. He is not wearing a breathable horsehair stealth mask or bone buttons to blend into the shadows. The text describes his outfit, and it is the loudest, most obnoxious, attention-grabbing thing a human being could possibly wear.
It's almost comical.
He is dressed in a bright pink silk arrow sleeve robe. Pink silk.
Oh.
And on his head, he's wearing a pink silk six-petal hero's hat.
He is a walking neon sign.
Okay.
By wearing head-to-toe pink silk in the middle of the day, he is broadcasting his immense wealth, his extreme confidence, and his absolute lack of fear of the authorities.
He's flaunting it.
He is daring them to look at him. And when the bleeding, broken Constable Zhu Rui looks up and sees this man's face, he realizes exactly who it is.
Oh, boy.
It is Hua Yunlong, the exact master thief, the major criminal mastermind that the entire county police force has been hunting this entire time.
The guy they have been tearing their hair out over, the guy Zhu Rui literally got his chest caved in trying to pursue, is just having a morning pint at the local pub, dressed like a flamingo.
Just relaxing.
Zhu Rui starts panicking. He yells to his colleagues, "Guys, grab him!" That's Hua Yunlong.
And how does Hua Yunlong react to being made by the police? He doesn't run.
He doesn't flinch.
He doesn't dive for cover. He doesn't even draw a weapon. He simply stops, looks down at this bleeding, broken police officer, gives a slight, mocking smile, and says, "Who are you going to catch? Go nurse your illness."
The sheer swagger of that line, "Go nurse your illness." He is openly patronizing the police in the middle of the street in broad daylight.
He pities them.
He isn't afraid of them because he knows they are completely powerless against him. They're an administrative nuisance, not a physical threat. He turns his back on them and just starts casually walking north up the street.
It is a devastating humiliation for the constables. It strips away whatever tiny shred of authority they had left. But Chai and Du, the two cops who spent all night chasing Jigong down a river, who just watched their friend bleed on a magistrate's desk for 10 days of leave, have finally reached their breaking point.
He added up.
The text says they pull out their iron rulers, their official police batons, and prepare to charge the master thief to make an arrest. And that is exactly where the chapter ends.
The cliffhanger. It just stops right there. It is such a phenomenal place to cut to black.
It leaves you wanting more.